What is up, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of the Talk of the Ring Show. If you don't know who I am, then that means you are not subscribed. So make sure you're subscribed. And I'm letting you guys know right now, this is going to probably be one of my most favorite episodes because a little bit of story about our guest is I've known him for like forever and like he's me and him close. But obviously, let me introduce him. Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Good Luck or Sam Adams.
Hello, hello. Do you hear me? Am I coming in?
You're
Is it?
good.
Is it? All right. Little lag.
Yeah, that's fine. So we're just gonna start with who or what got you into wrestling.
Oh, so that goes. That's a little bit of a story. I moved to Puerto Rico. I was in karate for like, oh my God, my whole childhood, like for like 4 years, and then when I was like 10, I ended up moving down to Puerto Rico with my family, and we watched Starcade like the first Sunday that we were there. The one with Hulk Hogan and Sting. You ever saw that one? With the
Probably
fast
not.
count.
Probably
Oh
not.
my God.
I
Oh,
know.
you have to watch it. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's a botch that lives in infamy. But yeah, but like, so I saw that match and then I just fell in love with wrestling. And then maybe a month later, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels had a casket match, and
Yeah.
I loved it. I was hooked. I was a fan, and yeah, it was the dream I always wanted. So as soon as the opportunity came, I was like, no need for school. Just gonna go in and just do this.
Why? I'm like, what is school? I just gotta go be a wrestler, right?
Oh,
It's fine, guys. You don't even need school. As long as you got wrestling, you don't need school.
like if you like, I would always tell people now, like you get your education. You need your education. That's first and foremost. Always get that. But I'm one of those people that I learned from making my errors. And when I was like 14, I hooked up with a friend. Well, 13, I hooked up with a friend, and he wrestled. He was like 18. He was a high school senior. And then I was like, hey, like, how'd you do that? And he took me to his guy that trained him. And he was like, his name is El Roquero de Isabela. And he dresses like the Undertaker. Like he was this complete Undertaker, like clone indie wrestler, right? But my hometown, they love that. He's like a local hero. And they took me there, and Alex was there, who was this big promoter, heavy set guy, but he's really cool. And he was like, "Yo, pay me $100 and I'll train you." And I was 13, and I was like, "Sure." And I gave him like $100 twice, 2 months, and he was like, "Just come back."
I mean, it works. I mean, $100 and being 13. I think it's better to get started early instead of waiting till you're like 30 or 40. Be like, yeah, I want to be a wrestler now. Me personally, I say it on here all the time. I don't want to be a wrestler. If you asked 6-year-old me, I would have said yes. But now being like more a part of it and seeing the moves, I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll stick to the broadcast and like being a So go ahead. Sam Adams can take the stand and he can
It's an acquired one. It's an acquired taste. It's a very, very crazy way to make a living. It's incredible, and like, well, if it wasn't until like this past year where I took my little hiatus that I was like, I didn't know how much of an impact it makes like in my whole life, and it's really become one of those things where the dream did become a reality. Be careful kind of sometimes what you wish for, but the dream did become a reality, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
No, definitely. So obviously, my dad, he's chanting your name in the chat because that's what he
Hey,
did.
heart emoji.
Oh my god, y'all. If you don't know Sam Adams in person, he is one of like in person over on like wrestling, he is the most kindest person ever. But if you see him in the ring, he expect him to be a douchebag. Just saying.
Yeah. It's what I knew. I know the type of people I don't like. and I know the type of people that get under my skin. So it's literally a character. When I'm a heel, it's completely just the complete opposite of what Sammy would do. Like Sammy would never. I'm a pastor's kid. I am a happily married family man, pastor's kid. I have a potty mouth, but I keep it in check. And my character, like I remember the first time my wife came and saw us at one of our shows, and she was like, I cannot believe I cannot believe that's you. I can't believe that's what you do. Like the things you said. And I remember I took this. There was this heavy set. God rest his soul. It was this heavy set fan at Samu's wrestling company,
Mhm.
and he would go. He would go every year. He would go every month, I should say. He was always in the front. Him with the Hayden family. He was always there. And every time I knew that was my target, to bust his balls. That was what I was gonna do that day. And I'd get there and we get into screaming arguments and stuff like that. And then this night, me and Andrew decided that we were doing a spot with there was this tag team that comes up from New York called the GOAT. That's also called the Zoltan. That's like GOAT, aka Zoltan.
Yeah.
And they had a valet, right? And me and Lobo were like, you know what we should do? Because you don't see it anymore. We look like, hey, we're in it. And it's a dog color match, and we're in it, and we're in it. And then in the middle of it, the girl stops us. The valet stops us from our tram. And when she turns around, we give her a chair shot because nobody does that anymore. You barely see, guy and girl interactions, and we did it. And man, if you were in Allentown that day, it was caused a riot. And we had to jump the barricade. We ran into the locker room. The people were banging on the window. They were upset. This girl was selling her butt off, and we were like, "Oh my god, we got some real heat." And we were like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this is so dope! This is so dope! This is so dope!" We jumped into Diablo Rojo's car. He jetted us home.
You're like, forget the paycheck. I got to get out of here.
Yeah. And my wife just calls me up and she goes, so that's what you do? I'm like, yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean,
yeah.
It is. So my dad goes and says, I love heel Adams. You sell it well.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed a lot of heels, they'll be a heel, but like when it comes to me, they ain't never gonna be a heel because everyone loves me.
Oh, I'm one of those people that I don't like being a heel. It's not my preferred. You rarely hear that everybody because it's the funnest part of doing it. But I like being a baby face because it's more I get to be more myself and stuff like that. But I have made a niche out of being a heel, and I've come into I've done it for so long. At this point, I could probably do it with my eyes closed, And when I came back, and they told me I was going to be a heel, I was nervous because with the tag team, we had been babyface for like 3 years. So I was like, oh my God. I went to one wrestler named Anton Nathan, and I was like, I don't even think I know how to be a heel anymore. I don't think I've ever done this. I don't think I remember. But it was like riding a bicycle. Once you know how to push somebody's buttons, one flick of the hat.
So
you remember pretty quick.
Yeah. Before we go, let's so you kind of mentioned like you're a heel, but you're a face. Is there one that you're more than the other? Like, you know what I mean? I think he froze. Oh no, guys. I think we lost him. I think we lost him, guys. Happens every time. But this time, I know it's not me. So it's on him, guys. Let's give him a minute. But yeah, I always will speak highly of Sam Adams. Him and Lobo, or Andrew is his real name, we locked in for real. I haven't seen Lobo, Andrew, whatever we're going to call him. I haven't seen him in a minute, and it feels like forever. But one day it'll come. He's been wrestling kind of not that much in the outer around here. He's not. But yeah, So I kind of also wanted to touch on a point really quick. Sam Adams was like, should I refresh? No, you just don't come back in. I'm just kidding. I did want to touch on a point is obviously, I think he's back. There we go.
Back? Oh my God. I got technology. I understand technology.
Oh, like, no, he just left us. He doesn't even want to talk to us anymore.
No. I was just like, is this me? Can they hear me? I should really be careful what I'm saying now.
You're like, should I say that? No, yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Like beep, 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 beep.
I had enough of technology. Let's just get this out of here. So before you froze, I was asking, like you mentioned about being a face, you mentioned about being a heel. Are you more like a heel more places or
Yeah. Actually, since I've come back, I worked babyface one time, and I've been working heel since I came back. And I've been heel when I broke in Puerto Rico. What got me over was the fact that I could cut a promo in English, and not everybody could do that in Puerto Rico. And I don't have an accent. That's kind of the thing that saved me. The benefit of moving to Puerto Rico so young is I was able to keep my English, even though I say sometimes a couple words like reversed.
Mm-hmm.
I can keep my English, but I speak Spanish. I'm Puerto Rican completely. So when I got there, they were like, listen, we're going to give you an American flag, and you're just going to rip on everybody in English. And you're going to tell people, yeah, you're American, and they're Puerto Ricans, and you're an American, and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, all the stuff you can't say anymore, I said that stuff.
So like if it ever comes back, you'll be like, ah shit, I said that.
Oh man, if they ever, I'm waiting for the day of cancel Sammy. Hashtag cancel Sammy.
It's fine. You'll have a whole army behind you. Be like, he was like 13 when he said that.
I was legit a little kid. And we only had the outernet. We weren't really considering the internet at the time.
So Anthony Blackwell says Sambo show was my first indie shirt I ever purchased. Sam Adams SmackDown soon after.
I love you Blackwell. But like, yeah, man, the Sambo show is the biggest thing that we ever did. I ever did. It's the biggest part of my life. So I always have a sweet spot, and it's ongoing because our friendship is for real. So me and Andrew will always be best friends. We'll always be there. He was the best man at my wedding. He was, he's been with my birthdays, anything. So but just being able to have like experiences like challenging for Impact's tag team championships, doing AEW tryouts, doing like traveling the world, traveling down to Florida, and traveling down all across the United States with him. It was always cool to have a best friend to do that with. And I would recommend it.
So if people don't know what the Sambo show is, what is it?
Okay, so originally we at WXWC4 with Sam Moon, he wanted to put me and Andrew, Siler Andrew together. And it was just a makeshift tag team. We were just going to do that at WXWC4. It was part of a little angle thing we were doing. That's all. It stopped and started there. We didn't even have the same entrance. It was completely kind of a separate thing. But then it started getting over. We had the match, like I said, with Zoltan, what we call that Little Riot. We had a cage match that really, really, really got hot over there. We wrestled a couple of guys down from Florida. It was really dope. One of our friends from the IWA in Puerto Rico, and he had come down from Florida, and he traveled, long story short, down to WXW. But so when Paul Bowe turned me babyface in PPW, they said, hey, we're interested in putting you in a tag team. And originally, I believe they said it was going to be Joey Martinez was the original idea.
Oh,
that was the original idea, was Joey Martinez.
Really quick on that, I don't think I can see Joey Martinez as I cannot. Even
word. Word. It was just, and it was like, just, I guess they were just looking for something to fill up. And I told them, listen, like, if we're going to do a tag team, I have a tag team partner, you know? We can just bring him in. No fuss, no muss. So we did that, and it got really over. The people in PPW really loved Siler Andrews. You know, he really got over there. And so we're doing the tag team thing. It's now we're spreading out, and we're at home, and I'm bored, and I didn't know what to do. And I called him up, and I was like, "Hey, Andrew, want to do a podcast? Why not? Right? Everybody else was kind of doing one at the time. You know, it was just starting out.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, let's just do it. He was like, wow, but we don't have nothing to do. I was like,
we lost him again, guys. Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Am I back? Was that fast? Did it just flap back? Oh my God.
You're good now.
Computer working with me? Oh no. Do I refresh? How do I refresh?
God,
oh, there we go. You see that? You see that technology? There you go. I'm learning internet stuff. It's really my biggest opponent is the computer.
Just technology.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, me and Siler, we decided to do a podcast. We watched some of our old matches, and we didn't know what to call it. We literally came up with the name on camera because we literally didn't think anybody was going to watch it or see it. And we were like, so we'll just fool around on it. And the Sambo show is when we take, we're like, Sambo suplex, bam. And we were like, okay, you take Sam Adams and Lobo Siler Andrews, Sambo show, boom, Sambo suplex, great, works out. Thank God, man, because when we got to do AEW, when we did our photos and stuff like that, even when we got to do Impact and they had to promote us, we had a name, we had an identity. Now we were a tag team, and it really, if it wasn't for doing those, I think it was like 10 episodes of a podcast that we did, yeah, it opened up so many doors. It's really, really, I always say that the Sambo show is the biggest thing I've ever done in my career. Very much is.
Most definitely. I remember it was an experience. You had the belts, you lost the belts, then you had them again. And it was good. Like you and I was also the wrong name. You and Lobo, that's what my brother calls him. He was, my brother, he was hardcore fans of you guys. So, like you both had like your reign of growing up and getting into your own being your own person, and then you like joined in and like the crowd just loved it.
It was natural. It was a natural reaction. Like I've known Siler literally since Siler was starting out in the wrestling, because he used to wrestle for an okay, so he used to do some backyard wrestling. And I was again, mind you, I started when I was 14. So by the time Siler was starting to wrestle for real when he was 18, I had already been wrestling for like 5 years. So he was backyard wrestling, and he was friends with an ex of mine at the time. And she had a wrestling ring, and they would do little backyard wrestling things. And I would get so embarrassed. I would not like to go to those things. And then I went to one time because they had a barbecue, and Siler was there, and he was like booking like these kids. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm there, please. And he goes, hey, bro, huge honor. You mind being the referee? And I'm like, damn, you didn't even book me in a match, man.
That's great. No, your guys' friendship, it's great. Like I followed you guys forever because like you wrestled in Hazleton, and now you wrestled in Broad Hillsville, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And now you wrestled in Slatington, where the new PPW is. So like it's been a journey. Like I've seen you grow as a wrestler. You've seen me grow up. So it's
of course. I was like, when I saw you doing the podcast, and really like these are important stuff to do in the fan base. If you notice, Pennsylvania indie wrestling is actually pretty big. You can actually concentrate on just New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania wrestling. Never even watch WWE if you don't want to. because it's so much wrestling out there, you know, especially with us. We got guys like the Main Event out here, the Anoa'i's out here. We got CCW events, PPW events, Monster Factory events. And when you have fans who are able to take things like that and, you know, spread the word and spread the name out, these podcasts are very important. Like I've told that to many people. I've told that to Blackwell. I've told that to High Tension, to Wicked Turtle. Those things are important. And even you, Harley Quinn.
No, it's a good thing. Like I started going to wrestling shows like the indies when I was 6. So now being 16, I've went to like 10 years worth of shows, and now like getting more involved. It's crazy. Like when I turn 18, I'll be actually involved in like the shows. I'm like, what? That's crazy.
Exactly. Like I can totally see you ring announcing. I totally see you backstage announcing. I could totally see you being a manager. I could totally see you being a valet. Even though you say no, I could totally see you in the ring. Everybody says no, but then eventually you get the itch and you get the little, oh my God, I want to come back. You know, I want to wrestle. Even me, I was like, for a whole year, I was like, I hate wrestling. I don't want to ever know about wrestling ever again. And then like 1 year later, it was like, I gotta miss it. I want to go back.
We missed you. Know, like multiple people, like you'll ask me one day, be like, "Do you want to be a wrestler?" I'm like, "No," and then like 2 weeks later, I'll be like, "Yeah, I kind of want to do it," and then like, "No, I don't." So like, I have time to decide. I think if I do, I'll start off as like a manager, ring announcer, and go from there.
Facts. You just start your way out, man. Like usually, people like to start off with refereeing, kind of dip their toe in, see what's going on with that, and then move their way up from there. You know, like I said, man, don't do what I did. Go to school, get an education first, explore a real career and job, because you know this is the entertainment business. You know, and there's a lot of broken dreams that also lay on that road. So it's always good to have that fallback of a real job, a real career.
Most definitely. So you kind of like said how you stepped away from wrestling. So there was that gap, like Sam Adams was just nowhere to be found. He was off the world. You couldn't find him. And then like you came out on my birthday, you said happy birthday. I was like, oh my God, this man's still alive. And then you take your return to PPW. Like, how was that experience for you, like coming back? And like the crowd, they popped. They were like, oh my God, they were so happy. And then you came out as a heel and they're like, so he's gotta go again.
Yeah. I always give him that like, here's a couple of seconds so we can all like, yay, hi everybody, I'm back. Okay, 3, 2, 1, all right? Beep, 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 beep. And yeah, man, like it wasn't easy, you know. It was a very difficult time that I was going through last year. Like I said, the Sambo show was very important to me. It was very big to me. It was very important to me. And I'm very protective of it. I'll say that, like of the IP of the brand, of like very, very protective of the image of how everything's preserved. And when I feel that that's being, you know, stepped upon and stuff like that, I take that offensively. And there was a promoter. I won't say names. I won't throw anybody. Everybody knows who he is up in West Virginia. And we just were not seeing eye to eye very much on anything. I believed very much a certain way on how to do things. I was brought up very old school, very, very keep things professional, you know, and he wasn't necessarily that way. I will never complain what he paid me very well. I will always say that. But I had a very hard, fast rule of no feuding with Siler, you know, no touching. If we're gonna pause the brand, we're gonna pause the brand. That's fine. That's perfect. That's all good. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But don't start booking stuff with the brand, because the Sambo show doesn't belong to any company. You know, that belongs to me and Siler Andrews. You know, and if you need to do something with that brand, you have to go through me and Siler Andrews. you know.
Perfectly said.
Exactly. And that was like the last straw. We already had several bookings. He felt like he wanted to keep me as a exclusive talent, have me go down there like 3 times a month. And I was like, well, that's cool. I have no problem doing that. But then, you're asking for exclusivity. So that comes with exclusivity money. So if you're not willing to do exclusivity money, then don't interfere with me. And he had something against PPW, and he had something against anybody in Pennsylvania. It was weird. And I really did feel like he was trying to come in between me and Siler and the team. And finally, it boiled over. And there's one thing about this business that they don't talk about, like the entertainment business, mental health.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, it's more like a lot of like the indie scene, the wrestling scene in general. It's like very, like, it's good, but like there's a lot of toxicity in it, and like you may be good with someone, and like someone else will try to ruin it, and then they may get their way or they may not. And like you said, for like you and Siler, it was your guys' brand. So like, if they didn't want, let's say they wanted you but not Siler, that doesn't work like that. You have to take both.
Yeah. And if you want one or the other, that's fine too, man. That's fine too. But don't think that you're gonna start a feud, or you're gonna start some kind of, this is gonna be the battle of the Sambo show. Because if we want to go and do a tag team in West Virginia and we're feuding, then how are we gonna go down to New York and be a team? It doesn't quite add up in my brain. If this was WWE, that's different. It's a big pet peeve. Tag teams on the independent circuit do not have to do a feud to break up or to take a hiatus. They don't have to, because this isn't WWE. It's not being followed every week. You're just gonna mess up your bookings later on, and that hurts the brand. That really does. And that's what we are. We're a brand. We're glorified T-shirt salesmen. We're truck driving. We're brands. We're like a flea market or traveling flea market. And if you interfere with that brand, that's going to affect overall. It was that coupled with the other stuff that he had been doing. Plus, it was just, man, I was going through a lot with like my wife and my life at the time personally. Yeah. And we were going through a lot at the time. And just that was like, wrestling was stinking to me. Yeah, I didn't want to. And I was dying to do something like this because I burned a couple of bridges, on the way out. It's something I never did. I prided myself for 20 years of always doing business the right way out. And there was like, I had a complete meltdown. I didn't want to know about wrestling. And the only one that I called every promoter and was like, I'm out. I'm done. I canceled all my bookings. And then I really messed things up with Ricardo Rodriguez. And I feel horrible about that. And it was like last minute. He didn't deserve that. And I know I effed up, and I shouldn't have. I know better than that. And to this day, I'm afraid of the day I'll cross him in the locker room, because I know he really went to bat for me for a minute, and then I just kind of screwed him like that at the last break. And it hurts, because that, again, hurts your brand. Now you're known as that guy. And I went 20 years without ever being that guy.
No, yeah. And I mean, like, things can be handled a certain way, as long as, like you said, you have to do it respectfully and like professionally. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm out. You can't do it like that. You got to be like, I'm dealing with some things. I got to step away right now. And that's fine. Like you said, it's you and Siler's brand. But like, if they want to book you alone, okay, you're not going to get the Sambo show. You're going to get Lobo, or you're going to get Sam Adams. They're not going to bring in the brand of the Sambo, because that's for both of you to do together.
and it was also like one of those things where it was like I was traveling for I'm sorry. I was traveling for 3 years with somebody, going to hotels all across the world, all across the states with this guy. And it was kind of like one of those things where now it's like you got to do it by your own. And it wasn't as fun at the moment. And when it stopped being fun, that was hard. And there's this old heavyweight champion called Jack Briscoe, and when he lost the title, he went through something similar. He said he went to the airport, he changed his flight, he went home, and he no-showed all of his bookings. He was done.
Just
Done.
no words.
No,
I'm just not. Just not.
I have no time for it. And for one whole year, Harley, nothing. Nothing. I didn't talk to wrestlers. I didn't watch wrestling. I just was I took it all out. I was a little bit of embarrassed of the way that I had did it. I was completely concentrating on being a firefighter at that moment, and joining the military, going to the Navy. And then at the very last moment, they gave me a no-go on the Navy. And I was like, okay, well, okay, something new. We'll find something else. But I was like hell bent on like not coming back.
Yeah, and then you were like, oh my God, well, there's that fan. Her name's Harley, and like she's really gonna miss me, so I gotta come back, right?
I felt really bad about the little spots that I had planned out. I had planned out a bunch of things that I was gonna do before I retired and stuff. And when I had that little mental lapse, I couldn't do it. And if it wasn't for Alpha in Hawaii, I probably wouldn't have came back. He's the one that like blew up my phone every month, nonstop for like 2 months. Like every week, it was just, hey, Oos, ready to come back? And I'm like, Oos, I'm fat. No, I'm not ready to come back. He's like, well, you let me know, Oos. Yeah.
We're like, are you ready yet? No. Are you ready yet?
No. And then I saw WrestleMania and I texted him. I was like, I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready. We can do this. We can work something out. Yeah, so I started going down to the battlefield, helping out the kids, and I got that bug. That's why I told you, you're gonna get that bug.
It's good. Like when you gotta take a break, you gotta do what's good for you, not like what people think. So it's good that you took that break, and now you're back, and you're gonna be on a strive. You're gonna kill it.
Man, I've been wrestling every weekend for the past month and a half. My next show, I literally have Sunday, Saturday, Friday, all in a row, all lined up. I get Monday and Tuesday off. I train the kids on Monday for the battlefield. So it's like, and that's really where the heart is for me right now. It's the kids. It's getting in there with the kids and teaching them some new stuff the right way. Samu was the first one to let me train kids.
Yeah.
And I got that itch. Like it was like, oh my God, like when they learn something and they capture something, it's amazing.
Most definitely. I mean, like it's good because like Alpha has his like style of training, but like it's good to know like other styles. So like you're not just taking Alpha and being like the replicate, whatever you want to call it, of him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Getting like your experience too.
And it's a complete team effort, It's not just me going in there. It's like I said, Alpha's there every day, and then I'm there on Mondays, and then Luca Brasdi is there on Thursdays and Wednesdays, and then they got people that come in on Tuesdays. So it's a different feel, and we're all helping out the next generation. Like I said, there's a big community here in this Northeast area, and to help these kids, kids like you everybody that's in the battlefield right now, everybody you see in PPW, guys like Ox, guys like Nolan, coming up the ranks. That's we have to help out because I'm gonna be 40 soon. I'm 35. I'm gonna be 40 soon. I'm a lot closer to 40 than I am 20. And yeah, it's an honor. whenever I see them, like yesterday, we were just working on some chain holds, and then like they wanted to learn chain wrestling, and then when I look around, they're all wrestling, chain wrestling on the sides, and they're getting it, and I'm like, yes, we broke the code.
That's great. That's great. I mean, I would have never thought you were close to 40, but hey, nobody
Yeah,
age,
yeah,
okay?
this hides a lot. This hides a lot of wrinkles, man.
It's from laughing too much. That's why. Just tell yourself that. You're not getting old. It's just from laughing too much.
Mentally, I've never grown up. Mentally, I've stayed maybe 12. I possibly. I mean, my wife would say that. My wife probably go 11.
Yeah, I don't think boys or men ever mature enough to be like that.
I still, every morning before we go to a show on Saturdays, I watch my cartoons and I eat my cereal, and it's Magic Spoon now because, keep those calories low, but I'll eat my cereal and I watch my cartoons.
Good. Breakfast is the most important meal, so that's great. So back on topic to my list of questions. We're going to just do the chat really quick.
No problem.
Anthony Blackwell says Sambo versus main event didn't have enough.
No, we didn't scratch the surface. We didn't, but we did do it a lot of places. We got to do it all over Pennsylvania, in Allentown. We got to do it, I think, in New Jersey. We definitely got to do it in the PPW. We'll always, hey, Turning Point 2017, the pre-show will always say the Sambo show versus the main event on the pre-show to Turning Point Impact Wrestling. Nobody can take that away from us. That's ours. And yeah, 5 minutes could have been 50 at that point. We still rock the crowd.
Honestly, yeah. He says, also, I missed the show on HTW.
I love it. I love high tension. I love high tension wrestling, man. I'm hoping to start working more, with Siler. We're talking about little projects that we can be doing. He's doing his thing right now. He's still focusing on it. He's happy right now, focusing on getting better right now. It's a couple of injuries here and there, but he's great, and I love him. And hopefully, you'll see us both together soon doing a little compilation.
And so 2 more. So he said, Anthony Blackwell says the payday. And then my dad goes and says, will we ever see Sambo again? Which you kind of said.
Oh, brother, you never say never in this industry, brother.
Oh my God, I cannot. So what would you say is like, obviously the crowd and like just being involved, but what would you say is like your favorite part of wrestling?
My favorite part of wrestling, believe it or not, is probably the adrenaline of the fans. Of that it's the most improvisation, if that's even a word. It just on the fly stunt doubling. It's magic. It's acting. It's stage. It's theater, all rolled into one. And
Yeah,
I love the athleticism. I love the fans. And like it's a really great way to pay the bills.
most definitely. I mean, I was just having a conversation with someone before, and they were like, the fans like make what the wrestling, like you can wrestle, but if you have no fans, you're not going to make money. You're not going to grow. So like the fans are important too.
They're important to you because it's like anything in that realm. I always tell people this is like a theater. It's like magic show, and you sell the merch. That's what helps us, feed our families. That's what helps us, make that check really palatable. You got to also understand, we would do it for free. This is something that we love to do. We would do it honestly for free. But the fans, if you don't have that connection with them, if they don't feel like, I'm going to help you by laying down $20 buying your t-shirt, here's 5 with an 8x10, just say hi, just go to the table and take a selfie. Even that, spreading the word about the brand. Without the fans, wrestlers are nothing. This is definitely a people service.
Most definitely. We used to say it all the time on here. It's like wrestling, especially in the indie scene, is like a family reunion. You don't get to see these people like every week. You don't get to talk to them every day, but like when you see them once a month, it's like, oh my God, I missed you. How are you?
It's a weird, it's like a cult little, group of people. We all come together and we all support each other, we all watch our shows, secretly, a lot of us are watching the other indie wrestlers and going, oh my God, look at that guy. Oh my God, marking out and stuff like that. It's beautiful, man. That's why I love seeing things like when I see like Riley Crow and her boyfriend and the stuff that they're doing there with like they have like the wrestlers standing around the ring, like kind of like the backyard days.
Yeah.
Like it's fun to see that sometimes because it's been a long time. That's kind of like the essence of wrestling sometimes, it's that community. I love it, man. Like I can't, and especially when you see you wrestle in front of like 13,000 people, it really takes you back when you wrestle in front of like the core.
Yeah. So what you said about the Sambo, like returning, my dad said, we will go crazy.
Oh my God.
I don't know what'll happen. I'll probably cry and be like, oh my God, here he is. He did that.
Man, it's all about timing. It's all about timing, and it's all about getting the right, the right deals done in the right situations. We are all for, working together and doing, breaking out the tights one more time. I still fit into the trunks because it's been so long since I put trunks on. But yeah, man, like I said, just be waiting, be patient. You never know.
Most definitely. So you said your favorite part. What would you say is the hardest part about wrestling for you?
The travel. I hate it. I love it. I love it because it's what you have to do. It's part of the job. It is, Yeah, you can wrestle in your little hometown for the rest of your life and be completely content with that. But if you're trying to make a name for yourself and you're trying to support a family and stuff like that, then you have to travel. You have to go out of town. You have to go on the long flights, the hotels, the car rides. And when you're a guy like me, when in Puerto Rico, we used to go out and club and stuff like that really early, really young in our lives. And I used to be like that. And I used to go out clubbing. I used to always love being out. Anytime's a good time with Sam Adams. Let's go out, let's party. And when my mom died, that's when it was like they put a lot of things in perspective. Yeah. And it was it suddenly was like, I like being home too. I like being with my wife. I like, she's my best friend, and we watch TV every day. We watch shows and, we eat popcorn and, we talk about movies, and she never used to watch wrestling ever. And now she spots out botches. She has that critical eye now, and she's like, oh my God, what were they trying to do? And I'm like, I don't know. Or she's like, the other day I'm like watching something, I won't say anybody's name, but she steps in, she sees one of the spots going on, she's like, woo, that jobber is bad. Oh my God. That's why I married you. So I wouldn't say that's the worst part. I say that's the hardest part. Is saying goodbye. But the best part is saying hello when we see each other at the end of the weekend. It evens out.
Yeah. So I'm sure we don't have any little Samuel Adams running around. Do you think that'll be? No. Okay. So that question. So if a wrestling fan came up to you and I was like, I like you as a wrestler, and I want to do what you do. What advice can you give them?
I tell them you go and you call and you go and contact Alpha Anoa'i to the battleground. Like right now, we have at that school some of the most amazing talent in the Northeast coming up by far. And they're getting ready at rapid speed. And we've been sending them all around. We've just come up with a bunch of different, Alpha's just came out with a bunch of different working agreements, sending these kids off to Germany, sending the kids off to Hawaii, sending the kids off to Puerto Rico. Excuse me. So the first thing is like, contact Afa on Hawaii. Because if you're gonna learn right. And what better than a member of the bloodline, right? What better than a Samoan dynasty?
Definitely. I mean, on topic really quick of the bloodline, I'm going Jimmy and Jey Uso on this one. I love Roman, but
I'm just like, if you didn't pull the trigger, when do you pull the trigger on Roman? I'm like, you're gonna, is it Jay? Is Jay the one? Who knows? Is just Jay the one that takes the belt? Like, it's so captivating. If it wasn't for the bloodline, I probably wouldn't have watched WrestleMania. If I wouldn't have watched WrestleMania, I would have gotten in shape. I would have gotten back into it. It's that storyline. It's like it crosses over to not just wrestling. It's mainstream right now. It's amazing, and we got to give it to Roman. Got to give it. He's the head. He's the face.
So you were on AEW. I'm not. Have you been on WWE? Okay.
That was an interesting story. We did have once we were ready to go for the tryout. We were supposed to fly out. It wasn't a tryout. We were going to do extra work. We were going to do extra work on Monday and on Friday. The Friday SmackDown before WrestleMania, and then the Friday, 2 SmackDowns before WrestleMania, and then the Monday before WrestleMania. We were supposed to do Raw and SmackDown. And then the pandemic hit. And those shows got canceled. And it was both of us. It was me and Tyler Andrews. There was a shot in PPW. I think it was Sean Carr wrestling, and he's doing a move, and you can see me and Siler in the background. We're running, and we meet each other in the middle, and we're jumping like little girls, and we're like, "Oh my god, oh my god!" It's because we just got the email that we got called, and we're like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" As we walk off. And so yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to do it. Pandemic, it kind of squashed that. But then, thank God, after that, it's when QT Marshall was like, "Hey, man, reach out to we're reaching out, da 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 da. You down to do a couple of days?" And we ended up, doing 2 days for AEW, and it was amazing, And then, luckily, we've been in constant contact with them, for since then. Again, it's just, they're going through a couple of transitions here and there, but man, if you would have told me when I was 13 that you were going to be on Impact Plus, that you were going to be on the pre-show for Impact Wrestling, you're going to have 4 different tryouts, with the biggest companies in the world, I wouldn't have believed you, If you would have told me that Carlos Colon and Savio Vega were going to, take you under their wings and help you out, I wouldn't have believed you. So always chase your dreams, because they do become reality if you work hard enough for them.
Definitely. So, if they both called you, WWE, so, you've got wind of AEW, but if they called you at the same exact time, was like, we want to put you on, the main roster, which one would you take?
Can I go to both? Oh, man, I couldn't choose, man. I couldn't choose. I'd be happy with any company. Honestly, Impact, AEW, New Japan, any of them, they've all been great, all getting to work with the biggest companies in the world, and and just doing, extra work, tryouts, seminars, I've gotten to meet Hall of Famers, I couldn't change it for anything, and even if I never get signed, I was talking to a wrestler at 5 Star Wrestling just this weekend, because when we were in CCW, our class was, Ace Austin, MJF, Mike Orlando, Drew Gulak. It was like, this is the cream of the crop. And, they all got signed and they all did their things. And we were kind of like, man, it used to bother me. And I was like, no, man, it shouldn't bother you at all, man. We were part of that conversation, we have a part of history on that. And that's why horses wear blinders, so they can run their own race, And if you just keep it focused on what you're doing, you'll be happy, Did you when you said when you sign up, you say you want to be a pro wrestler. You don't say you want to main event WrestleMania or Double or Nothing. You don't say you want to be the headliner in Madison Square Garden. You just say you want to be a pro wrestler. And I get to say today I'm a pro wrestler.
Exactly. And it's great. It's a good thing.
Yeah, man.
Doors for you.
Yep.
But you kind of just said, like, Madison Square Garden. Is there like a dream place that you wish to wrestle before you call it quits permanently?
Oh my God. Wish, of course. There's a bunch of places I would love. You know, I'd love to actually go to Japan and Mexico. You know, I did get booked in Mexico, and it was a hell of an experience, but couldn't make it there at the last moment. I did get to wrestle in St. Thomas. And that was a hell of an experience, wrestling in a little island like St. Thomas. That was amazing. But if I had to, like, I've wrestled in like the biggest arenas, you know. Of course, I want to wrestle in Madison Square Garden, but I'm just happy. I'm happy where I've wrestled. I can never be like, oh my God, where else? I loved everything I've done.
Definitely. So is there anything you do before you come out the curtain? Like, we know you come out, you in a full vibe, and you're like, yeah, and then you're all like, I hate all of you. Before that, is there anything you do to like pump yourself up?
I pray. Always first thing I do. Like I said, I'm a pastor's kid, so Christian, you know, gotta represent. So I pray that everything's gonna go well, that everybody's gonna enjoy it, and that God, you know, is there for us. Make sure everybody comes out the same way we went in. And then I get the endless feeling that I need to pee. Just will not go away. Doesn't end until the referee says ring the bell, and that's where it stops. But it's just this feeling of, man, I gotta go. And it's 20 years, I can't explain it. Just like, oh my God, how do camels do this? And I just go through the curtain.
No, like, I think you may have like seen me and Sabrina when Sabrina was on the podcast with me. We got at a show, UCW in Hazleton, and we were like, I guess you could say like ring announcers, and we did like the interviews and stuff. And I was like, Sabrina, I gotta pee. She was like, you just went like 5 minutes. I was like, I can't control it. I gotta go like every 2 minutes.
I have no idea. Exactly, man. Like I'll be sitting there and I'll be just doing my little thing, getting my push-ups in, boom, boom, boom. And as soon as the music starts going, like, I'm like, on cue, man, on cue. I'm like, no going back now, okay?
He's just peeing. Just give him a minute. He'll be back.
Yep. No, it's just a giant sweat stain in the middle of the ring.
So in the chat really quick, my dad said, I said there should be a PPW wrestling game from past to present of all wrestlers who's been a part of it, and it'll sell and be a PA exclusive. I think that would be cool.
My God, if there's one thing I love more than wrestling, it's gaming. Like I just love gaming. I already got the AEW game on my Switch. I got I got the 2K on UFC ready on my Game Pass. And you know, after that Retro Mania Wrestling came out, I was like, you know, there's not any much that can stop us from having a PPW video game. All you need is a producer. Man, can you imagine? Think of the roster. Think of that roster. You'd have like Scott Steiner. You'd have Colt Cabana. You'd have all of the indies stars of the Northeast. God, man, that'd be a hell of a game.
And so my dad said, clubbing now is not the same as it was back then. There's so much more to be scared of.
No. Back in the day, you still had to be scared. I'm talking about like, 2006, 2007, like was like everybody like was starting to get into that popping in the clubs and stuff like that, and it was rough. And nowadays it's even rougher, man. It's not the same. I don't ever recommend it. It's surprising how boring I am now, how housebroken I am now. Like I just will not go out to a club. And like after shows, plenty of times the wrestler's like, hey, let's go down to the bar. We'll tie one up and stuff like that. Been there, done that, buddy. No, I'm good. I'll go to the hotel. I'll check you.
You're like, I gotta go I gotta go handle some business.
Yeah, exactly. And then I get to the hotel room. It's like, business. How's your day?
Great. So obviously we have our favorite Gavin in the chat. He goes, "Hey, Mr. Sam, I hope you liked your poster. Happy
Loved
to see
it.
you again."
Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Look, wait. Let me see if I can, without breaking everything, because this is my little office space. Have it right there. My little office space. Barely see it. Boom. Love you, Gavin. Love you.
biggest competitor for everyone in the industry.
Oh my God, he's like just like you. He's taken the mantle that Cody was, like that little kid that was in every show, and he's just up the game. Those cosplays, God, I think we're more marks of him than he is of us.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So you said like your dream venue. Have you like wrestled anywhere that you've wrestled everywhere, but have you wrestled anywhere that you're like, I really like this place and I will wrestle here whenever I got the option?
In Puerto Rico, the biggest arena to wrestle in is the Pepín Cetero Bayamón. It's not the biggest like its size, but it's where every wrestling show, any big match, dream, it's like the arena. It's like the ECW arena in Philly is the Pepín Cetero Bayamón in Puerto Rico. Same thing.
Okay.
And when I wrestled there, jam-packed, the kids were hanging from the rosters, brother, and fully packed of 5,000, 15,000 people just hanging down from the rafters, brother. And it was amazing. So much so that I wrote with a magic marker right on the roof on one of the beams, Sam Adams was here. So in the case of anything, and last time I checked, it was still there. I'm going to go back soon and check it out. But last time I was there, I checked and it was still there. So hopefully.
You go and be like, who took this down? I need to speak to a
manager. No, not so close.
Right?
Oh my God.
Be like, that's it. We're done. You took it down. We can't even do this right now. Froze again, guys. Anyways, we're getting so close to the end too, and we lost it again. I know it's not me, guys. My connection is secure, so it is him. Gosh, it's all right, guys. We having a great episode. I know it's him. So y'all better after this go in Sam Adams DMs, be like, yo, gotta fix your connection, you old man. No, I'm just kidding. It's always saying on the podcast. It's okay though. We always make it work. We always have a blast. They always end up figuring it out. But yeah, so obviously 5-star was this past week. Cut some time before whenever he gets back. 5-star was this past weekend. So hopefully you guys went out and supported for there. There was lots of great indie scenes guys there. Sam Adams was there. Yeah.
Hi, I'm back. I'm technology.
I told him, I said, I'm going to send them all to your DMs. Be like, old man, you got to figure out your technology.
It's the internet, man. It's the computer. It's me against the computer for the rest of our lives.
Because, he knows how to play video games, so that's not the
Hey, if it cuts 4 buttons on the sides of each of them with 4 more on the top, I can do that. I can figure that out. It's hard.
Anyways, so where we left off was about like your signature thing. I was like, yo, if they took that down, be like, nah, I gotta speak to someone. Who took my signature down?
Oh man, they paid you. I'll be mad.
This is ridiculous. No, I'm just kidding. So how do you feel about intergender wrestling?
I dig it, man. I dig it. I think one of my best matches was against Allie Rex. Really, we had this great match on CCW. Yeah, I love Allie. I love her. And we was like, they saw the name on the sides, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. This is really. And I had a really good match with Dina Steele at True Wrestling,
yeah,
and that was
there.
Yeah, that one was really good, man. I really had a blast with that one. So I'm all for intergender wrestling. I'm kind of shocked WWE hasn't pulled the trigger on it, especially with Rhea Ripley. She's really it'd be real simple to just kind of pull the trigger on that. Everybody kind of is.
Yeah, it'll come, but it's good.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like death match, hardcore weapons kind of?
I'm not against it. I do it. I'm not against it. If it's gotta can't do that for free. You got to do that. That's gonna take a lot of money for that. But I do it, and if that's your thing, man, if that's what you want to do to perform your art, then by all means, you do that. You do you. But yeah, man, I'm not against it. If I would lie and say I wasn't into hardcore wrestling when I was growing up, that's a lie. I think everybody gets into it. Then you grow kind of past it. Some people don't. Some people just want that's their art form. And if it is, man, hey, what are you gonna tell me? Sabu wasn't a legend? He was. You're gonna tell me Sandman wasn't a legend? He was. Tommy Dreamer's a legend. The Dudley Boys are legends. I'll put Nick Gage in there. Yeah, I'll put him in there. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I think it's for some people, just not everyone. I remember,
No.
I think it was a PPW show or BPW show, one of the two, because they both ran at the same venue at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, there was one, I think he wrestled, like he trains with Offa right now. His name, what's his in-ring name? I think Philadelphia Playboy or whatever.
Philly Playboy. Philadelphia Playboy.
Oh my God. I'm pretty sure it was him, but like there was a match, like he busted his head and he was like dripping blood. I'm like, bro, you are stepping too close to me. You need to back it up.
He just did one. Yeah, he just did one when they put like a table in between the rope and the guardrail. He took the choke slam right from the table into right from the guardrail, right into between it.
I'm not
crazy. I mean, like, I've done it. I mean, like, I have scars all over my forehead. I have scars on my back. I've in Puerto Rico, I did my fair share of hardcore matches. Like you do get into it when you're growing up, when you're a kid. And like I said, man, if that's how you continue your art, then that's how you're gonna express it. And at the end of the day, this is an art form. Like mixed martial arts, man. You got a little judo, you got a little kempo, you got a little kickbox, blah blah blah. Same thing with wrestling, man. There's a little haha wrestling. There's some really cool ring work. There's hardcore death matches. It's all pick your flavor. Choose your flavor, like Baskin
Robbins. Definitely. I mean, like someone's saying, he pulls them off. The death match, hardcore matches. But if you bleeding, stay over there. Cause like I my own blood. I'm like, no.
Yeah, man, it's definitely an art form, but it really turns the match up another level once you have the color. It really does. It sets the tone for what you want. I'm all for the color returning. I'm all for it. All for it.
Definitely. So it's getting past my bedtime, guys. So if people
I feel that.
But I'm getting old, guys, just like him. Just kidding. So do you have merch? And if so, where can people purchase it at?
Oh, you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Sambo Show. You can find my merch. You can find Siler Andrews merch. You can find both our Sambo Show merch there. Always at the merch table. I get really great offers. We do real good deals. Even hit me up on Facebook, DM. Always, hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. I'm replying more on Instagram lately, and even Twitter. I even reopened up the Twitter back up. So, yeah, when I came back hard.
You kind of said that you were working for a lot of shows recently. Are there any shows in like the next 3 weeks?
Oh my God. Yeah. So we got BPW coming back at the Battlefield Training Academy. We're going to be there this Sunday. Come out there. The ring time is 3:00. So, doors open at 3. So come in, and support the guys there at BPW. Then we have, I got RCW down on Friday, and then I'll be there at PPW on the Bullet on Saturday, ready to shock the world with what I'm going to bring in there.
It's gonna be a blast. So, like you said,
Good
where
to
to follow
hear.
you guys. So, thank you so much for coming on. I know you are top tier. I have a list of like people who've seen me grow up, and I was like, nah, that man.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm getting him on, and I finally
Man,
like, yeah, just come on. And now,
man, girl.
obviously, it's Tyler Andrews. We got to get his behind on here
Oh,
soon.
he'll do it. He'll do it. He loves these things, man. This is his bread and butter.
I'm a person, so but thank you so much, and you all have a great night. Bye.
Bye.